So if you feel like you've been eating healthy, but nothing is changing, it's not your hormones, it's not your metabolism, it's that most women are eating the wrong foods at the wrong times in a way that's making fat loss harder than it needs to be. And I see this all the time, especially with women who are working long 12-hour back-to-back shifts. They're grabbing something quick, they're trying to grab something that's convenient, all while still trying to stay on track. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly the foods that are slowing down your progress, the foods that you should be focusing on if fat loss and building muscle is your goal, and exactly how to structure your meals so that you're not feeling exhausted, hungry, low on energy, and stuck. So before we dive into the food specifically, I first want you guys to understand that fat loss isn't about eating less, because if your meals aren't built properly, you're going to feel low on energy, you're going to feel hungrier, and your workouts and recovery is going to take a hit. And most importantly, you're going to end up overeating later on in the day without even realizing it. So instead of just cutting calories, we need to focus on building better meals that works with your lifestyle and that works with your current schedule and your goals specifically. Because if your schedule is unpredictable, structure matters more than anything. So let's start out with the foods that tend to slow people down the most. And this isn't about completely cutting it out. It's about understanding how they affect your energy, your hunger, and your overall intake. So let's dive into the foods that you should avoid or at least limit. And this is liquid calories. This is by far the easiest way to stall your fat loss progress. Things such as sugary coffees, smoothies, juices, and alcohol especially can add hundreds of calories throughout the day without you even realizing it. And the problem with this isn't just calories. It's the fact that you can consume those hundreds of calories within a matter of seconds and minutes. But then what's going to happen is it's not going to leave you full. It's not going to leave you satisfied, and it's going to leave you hungry 1 hour later. Now, if we were to compare that with a meal that had the same amount of calories, but were filled with protein and fiber, you're going to feel completely different after eating. It's going to hold you over longer, and it's going to have a different effect on your body internally. And this is why somebody might say, yeah, I barely eat a lot, or I barely eat anything, but they consume alcohol on the weekends or throughout the week. They drink a lot of juice. They like to have that iced caramel frappe in the morning with their bagel from Starbucks, and that alone can keep you out of a calorie deficit. Now, again, you don't need to completely cut these things out, but you do need to be aware and informed the effect that it has on your hunger, right? Very little effect, and how much the calories can add up. So now let's dive into the second item on the list of foods that you should avoid or item limit. And this is high fat, high carb, low protein meals. And this is where most hyper palatable food lives. So if we can think about pizza or fries, chips, desserts, or even takeout meals. These foods are specifically designed to taste amazing and be very appealing to the human eye. But what's going to happen is you're going to eat it. You're not going to really feel too satisfied. And if you do feel satisfied, you're going to want more after. And they're by far the worst combination when it comes to fat loss, because they don't do too much for your hunger. And if it does, it's usually short-lived. Fat is very easy to overconsume. Fast digesting carbs are very easy to overconsume. And when you don't pair that with protein or fiber or anything to slow down digestion, fat loss and controlling your hunger is going to feel harder than it needs to be. This is where you can eat a lot of calories very quickly without even realizing it, because this category of hyperpalatable foods, so typically foods that are higher in fat, higher in carbs, and low in protein and fiber, is going to leave you craving more. It's going to have a dopamine hit on your brain, and it's not going to leave you satisfied after eating. And it's not that these foods are necessarily bad. I don't like to categorize foods as either good or bad, because, it's good to live a little bit and enjoy these things every once in a while. But when these type of foods make up a big portion or majority of your diet, that's when it becomes a problem. Now, number 3 on our list under foods to avoid or limit is healthy and calorie dense foods. This one shakes a lot of women up. This is where a lot of women tend to get frustrated, because if they aim to make majority of their diet healthy, but they're not monitoring calories, fat loss is going to be harder than it needs to be. So, you guys feel like you're doing everything right. You're eating the nut butters, you're eating the healthy acai bowls, you're eating your smoothies and your avocados and your olive oil, but you fail to realize how many calories you're actually adding into your meals and actually adding into your day. And next thing you know, your weekly deficit isn't even a deficit anymore. These foods have nutrients, yes, and they can be very healthy for you, I agree, but they're also very easy to overconsume on calories, even when the portions are small. So let's take an acai bowl, for example. This is basically dessert. One bowl on average is 700 to 800 calories if you're packing on toppings such as peanut butter, such as coconut flakes, granola, and honey, and you're not tracking the portions. portions. Instead, what you should do for fat loss is cut that standard portion of the toppings in half if you want to make your meals more aligned for fat loss. And especially since this is where most of the calories in the acai bowl is coming from. Now, another example is a tablespoon of olive oil, which is 120 calories for only 1 tablespoon, which you might mindlessly pour when you're cooking your food. A handful of nuts and granola can easily be 200 plus calories if you're just mindlessly adding it into your yogurt bowls without being aware of it. Again, you don't need to cut these out, but you do need to build that awareness. And number 4 on our list is ultra processed convenient snacks. So things such as protein bars, packaged snacks, things that you typically just grab quickly on the go. Now, these things aren't necessarily super bad. There is a time and place for it. If you know that your days is going to be super busy and chaotic and maybe you just didn't effectively plan your meals beforehand, or let's say you're traveling, for example. But these foods are typically lower in volume, higher in calories, and they're easy to overconsume, and they don't leave you full after, and then you're going to be reaching for something else to eat probably an hour or two later. If your days mostly consist of these type of snacks, you're probably going to struggle with consistency and hunger along down the line. Now, let's flip this and talk about what you should actually be prioritizing, because once you start to do this, everything will change. I'm so excited about this part because this is what you guys need to incorporate. So number 1 is going to be lean protein. Everything in this section is what I also prioritize myself within my meals and my diet as well as my clients. Lean protein should be the foundation of every single one of your meals, and it's what you should plate first instead of your carbs first if your goal is fat loss. Because protein is what's going to help you build and maintain muscle. It's going to allow your body to have that nice, defined, toned look, and it's going to leave you satisfied after eating, especially since out of all 3 macronutrients, protein is the most satiating. Not to mention, it's going to slightly boost your metabolism, especially in the long run, which is extremely important if you want sustainable fat loss. If you front load your protein and this nutrient specifically earlier on in the day, is what's going to help curb those cravings later on in the night. So if your meals and your snacks are low in protein, you're absolutely going to feel it. You're going to feel more hungry. It's going to be harder to stay disciplined and aligned with your fat loss plan. And it's just going to lead to more inconsistency because hunger will always win. So think of foods such as chicken, ground turkey, Greek yogurt, egg whites, protein powder, or fish, even shrimp. This should be taking up majority of your meals, your plate, and your snacks. Now, next up on our list of foods that you should be prioritizing is high fiber foods. This is one of the most overlooked things when it comes to fat loss, and most women are under eating on fiber, and they feel it in their hunger and they feel it in their energy. Fiber is what's going to help slow down digestion. It's going to keep food in your stomach longer. It's also going to have an effect on GLP-1, the same medication such as Ozempic that people use for weight loss. Fiber is what's going to help naturally mimic your body's physiological response instead of turning to pharmaceuticals. It's what's going to help stabilize your blood sugar. It's going to help improve your digestion, and it's going to have you looking and feeling your best. So when you combine protein and fiber into one meal or even a snack, this is what's going to change the game for you because you're going to feel so full and satisfied throughout the day. You're not going to even feel the need to snack unless it's that time of the month because we're human, right? So I'm talking about things such as whole fruits, such as vegetables, beans, lentils, and whole grains. This should be a consistent part of your meals and your diet, not an afterthought. Now, when it comes to fruits as well, you should be eating the whole fruit. A lot of people are reverting to juicing nowadays, and what's going to happen is you're going to be removing most of the fiber from the fruit and the juice that you're having. So you're not going to have the same effect that you would if you were to eat the whole fruit, and what happens is your blood sugar is going to rapidly spike and you might feel hungrier after as well. Now, you still will be getting a lot of nutrients and it will be super healthy, but if we're talking about fat loss and controlling hunger, eating the fruit whole or eating the vegetables whole takes the cake. All right, next up, we have smart carbs, and this is where a lot of women get it wrong by either completely slashing their carbs or having it randomly throughout the day. Because carbs are your body's primary fuel source, especially if you're working out hard and training heavy. If your goal is to build lean muscle, get stronger, and look defined and toned and absolutely love what you see in the mirror, you will benefit tremendously from the right type of carbs. The key is choosing the carbs that support your energy and performance, especially in the gym. So things such as fruits, such as oats or potatoes. And you want to place these carbs around the time of the day that makes the most sense. If you know you're not going to be having a physically active day or it's a rest day for you, then maybe this is going to look like having a lower carb day. If you know that you're going to be training hard and you're going to have a heavy leg day, then maybe this looks like having a moderate to higher carb day so that you can fuel for performance and aiming for more fast digesting carbs, especially 30 minutes before your training. So you want to be smart with your carbs and time them the right way. So when you do that, you're going to feel stronger, your workouts are going to improve, and you're actually going to be using those carbs for energy instead of storing them away. And then the next thing you know, weeks along down the line, when you're finally looking in the mirror, you're noticing that you're building more muscle, you have a solid foundation underneath, and you have less body fat. And lastly, under foods that you should prioritize is higher volume meals. This one is super underrated. This is how you're still going to be able to eat more while losing fat because the foods are going to be taking up more space in your stomach for fewer calories. Things such as vegetables, high fiber fruits, or potatoes is what's going to allow you to have bigger portions without blowing your calorie deficit. And this by far is what makes fat loss sustainable without being restrictive, because if you make majority of your meals high volume meals that prioritize whole foods such as fruits, such as vegetables, lean protein, and you naturally just eat that way on a day-to-day basis and you turn it into a lifestyle, the nights that will show up where you want to go out to eat or where you want to enjoy yourself on a date night, you don't feel the need to have to restrict yourself because that one night or 1 to 2 nights of going over your calories doesn't really matter much because the other days you're already eating more aligned for fat loss. This is how I'm allowed to go out to eat and absolutely pig out because 9 times out of 10, my days are consisting of higher volume meals that are full of lean protein, that are full of fiber, so that it doesn't lead me to overeating. So some examples of higher volume meals that I like to build out for my clients is an egg scramble recipe for breakfast, wild-caught salmon with mixed veggies for lunch, and a loaded baked sweet potato for dinner. All of these meals are high in protein, high in fiber, and are higher volume because we increase the lean protein and we increase the veggies that helps them stay full and reduce cravings later on in the night. And the outcome of that is sustainable fat loss. Now let's talk about how to actually build out your meals, because knowing what to avoid and what to prioritize is one thing, but if you don't know how to structure your meals, you're going to struggle. So when it comes to structuring your meals and your foods, you want to go with the hand portioning method. And the goal with this is simple. So the first thing you want to think about is you want to start with protein, you want to add in fiber, and then include carbs and control your fat. If your meals aren't built like this, you're going to feel it later. You're going to feel out of control. You're going to feel hungrier and your cravings are going to come on stronger. And this is even if everything that you're eating is healthy. A simple way to apply the hand portioning method for your meals goes like this. Your palm size is your protein portion. This right here is your anchor. Your fist size is your fiber, so your vegetables or your fruits. Your cupped hand is your carbs, such as your rice, potatoes, or grains. And your thumb is your fat, so think of oils, think of nut butters, or your dressings. This gives you a quick and realistic way to build out your meals anywhere without feeling the need to track everything. Now, the reason why this hand portioning method to build out your meals is so effective because there was a comparison that was done when they used the hand portioning method to build out their meals, and then they compared it to actually weighing and tracking everything out. And the macros were almost pretty much the same, if not just off by a couple of grams. So if you're somebody who's been tracking your food intake for weeks, you've been feeling super tedious and stressed out while doing it to the point where you can't stay consistent with it, using the hand portioning method can be a game changer for you. So a meal can look like this: grilled chicken breast or grilled chicken thighs as your protein, a side of veggies or salad for your fiber, a portion of rice or potatoes for carbs, and a small amount of fat from dressings or oil when you're cooking. That's a balanced meal that helps support energy, that helps support building muscle and fat loss over time. Now, depending on your goal, you can simply just adjust each portion for each macronutrient. If your goal is fat loss, then this might look like going for 2 palm-sized portions of protein or 2 fist-sized portion of veggies, or maybe even half of a cupped hand for carb. Once you understand how to build out your meals like this, you can simply just adjust portions that's depending on your current goal. And this is exactly why most meal plans don't work for women long-term, because a meal plan is going to tell you what to eat, but it's not going to teach you how to eat and how to think about food and your meals. They don't teach you how to build out your meals when you're at work in the cafeteria determining what you need to eat for lunch, or if you're traveling traveling or if you're going out on date night. And that's the real skill that you need, because fat loss isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent in real life situations. Once you understand how to structure your meals like this, everything with fat loss becomes easier because you're not guessing, you're not starting over every Monday, and you're not relying on motivation because you actually know what to do no matter where you are. And that's what allows you to lose body fat, keep it off, and finally feel in control when it comes to your nutrition. You might be listening to this video and thinking, okay, this makes perfect sense. This is exactly what I needed to hear. But when it actually comes to planning and building out your meals when you're working a long shift and you get home from work and you're exhausted at the end of the day, that's where everything changes. That's where everything tends to fall apart. And it's not because you don't care or because you lack discipline. It's because no one has taught you how to apply it in real life. It's one thing to understand that you need to eat more protein and you need to add more fiber and what sources to go for. But it's another thing to actually look at a menu when you're at a restaurant or look at a menu when you're at your hospital cafeteria and know exactly what to order, know exactly what to swap out that stays aligned for fat loss in the long run. And most importantly, so that you don't need to overthink and stress over things. That's the difference between knowing information and actually having a system. So if you want to take this a step further, I put together a video that walks you through my 5-step process on how to lose body fat and build muscle with proper training, proper nutrition, and the right lifestyle changes. This is how you're going to stay consistent with a busy schedule, because once you learn how to do things the right way, everything changes. So click the link down below to watch the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.